Meanwhile, the stones of Troy loom in hushed silence upon the landscape, raising only more haunting questions that may never be answered. There are those who believe that the quest for Atlantis has been carried out in all the wrong places. In the 1880s, the search for Atlantis would take a new turn, and then take the world by storm. But it would come from a most unlikely source. Ignatius Donnelly was a maverick of his time. A businessman by training, he spent one term in the United States Congress before losing a bitter re-election campaign. Depressed at his defeat, Donnelly found himself spending hours in the Library of Congress, soaking up books about history, archaeology, and ancient civilizations. He was also keen on the popular literature of the day, and was especially fond of the spirited science fiction adventures of Jules Verne. Back in his native Minnesota, Donnelly locked himself away for days on end, feverishly laying out on paper his own unique theory about the lost continent of Atlantis. He was convinced, as Plato had said, that it was buried deep in the Atlantic Ocean, where it held the key to all of civilization. In 1882, the publication of his book, Atlantis, the Antediluvian World, riveted the nation. Translated into many languages, it outsold all other books and set off a worldwide mania about Atlantis.
Here was a book in English that explained about a magnificent civilization that was lost and that could be found if we knew where to look. So he captured the public imagination. But he did it by investing Atlantis with qualities that Plato had never even imagined.
Donnelly believed that all the world's mythology and history, even art and architecture, sprang from one common source. Could it be that all the great utopian myths, even the Garden of Eden, represented a universal memory of the single great land, Atlantis? Researching his subject in meticulous detail, Donnelly claimed that all the kings and queens of the world's great mythologies were in fact the lost royalty of Atlantis. He claimed that the Greek god Atlas, who carried the world on his shoulders, was one and the same as the Mexican Toltec god Quetzalcoatl. Both, he said, were variations of an ancient Atlantean god. In Donnelly's theory, even the concept of pyramids, both Mayan and Egyptian, sprang from Atlantis.
And he said, well, if there are pyramids in Egypt and pyramids in the Americas, the pyramid, the idea of the pyramid, originated on Atlantis. And when the people left Atlantis, some went to Egypt and took their pyramid ideas with them, and some went to the Americas and built pyramids there.
But is it possible that two societies situated thousands of miles apart could be linked to the same source?
They both had the same astronomy, they both had the same calendars. There's a Mayan, one of their leaders, leaving from a volcano and going out into the sea, which is the same story that Plato told about Atlantis.
Scholars now believe that Mayan and Egyptian civilizations flourished at vastly different times. But in the 1880s, Donnelly's writings were heralded as brilliant insights into the fate of Atlantis.
People gravitated together who believed in Donnelly's version of Atlantis. Some of them were mystics and actually tried to contact the spirits of the deceased Atlantis. And we hear wonderful tales about seances, where people would sit around in a circle and hear the spirit of the princess of Atlantis speaking to them.
The story of Atlantis also became fundamental to a growing interest in psychic phenomena and spiritualism that was sweeping the world at the turn of the century. At the forefront of this movement stood a strange and enigmatic figure, Madame Helena Petrovna Blavatsky. She was born in Russia in 1831. It was said that as a child, she talked with spirits in her sleep. As a young woman, she traveled the globe extensively. On her return to the West, Madame Blavatsky mesmerized thousands on the lecture circuit with demonstrations of clairvoyance and spiritualism. According to her, the Atlanteans did exist, but they were only the third of 7 root races of mankind, their predecessors being a race called the Lemurians. Millions of years ago, she said, the Lemurians had also sunk into the sea in one of many worldwide floods. Echoing this belief and the story of Noah in the Bible, even Plato wrote of a recurring cycle of natural disasters.
We have this kind of collective memory, if I can call it that, of a worldwide flood. There are, of course, people who claim that they have found Noah's Ark on top of a mountain in Turkey, and it's one of the mysteries that we have to deal with when we're looking at mythology from different peoples.
But in searching for Atlantis, evidence sometimes overshadows legend. When we return, another prophecy of where the lost continent may have been located, and an incredible discovery near the Bermuda Triangle that sends shockwaves throughout the scientific world. Over the centuries, theories about the location of Atlantis have come and gone. Rarely have any been backed by tangible evidence. But here, in the restless currents of the Bermuda Triangle, science and prophecy come together in an uneasy alliance. In the 1920s, the psychic Edgar Cayce was renowned far and wide for his uncanny ability to cure patients while in a deep state of trance. Then he turned his skills from medicine to other areas. Cayce began to speak of Atlantis, describing its great cities and advanced technologies. In time, while in trance, he attempted to identify where the lost civilization had sunk beneath the sea. One day, in 1939, he predicted that proof of Atlantis would be found in the waters off the coast of Bimini near Bermuda. Not only that, he predicted the exact year of its discovery, 1968. Precisely 29 years later, as prophesied, scientists flying over the shallow coastal waters of Bimini observed a massive submerged shape beneath the surface. Divers dispatched to the scene confirmed its existence. Almost 2,000 feet long, the object uncannily appeared to look like a wide wall or elevated roadway, its one end curving mysteriously into the shape of a gigantic letter J. Equally strange, the huge stone slabs appeared to be aligned in precise geometric patterns.
The greatest mystery of the Bimini site is the engineering of those stones. Nobody that's seen them has any answers. The size of it and the precision, those are the incredible details of the Bimini Road.
No one is yet clear about the origin of the strange structure. Are the stone slabs the work of man, or merely a highly unusual natural formation.